Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Gangadapate Namaha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangale Shive Sarvartha Sadike. Sharanya Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namaste se, namaste se, namaste se, namo namaha. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Om Durge Durge Rakshini Tha Tha Swaha. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 2nd of April 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Paramatma residing in the heart of every single being. We are continuing to examine Mandukya Upanishad, verse number 1, and that beautiful verse is as follows. The verse is Om Iti Etat Aksharam Idam Sarvam Tasya Upavyakhyanam Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyat Iti Sarvam Omkara Eva. This is the verse, and we want to look at this now very carefully in terms of its intersection with what is our internal Shakti. The internal core power. We are aware that there is Shakti. We know there is something like Shakti. We know that, we experience low energy, high energy. We experience the Jagrata Avastha, Swapna, Shushupti Avastha. This is all happening due to the presence of energy. That energy is used to create. Without energy, nothing can be created. Now, what exactly is energy? That is a more mystical question. When we say, what do we mean by Shakti? What exactly is the tattva that is Shakti? That is, it is nothing but Brahman only. It is nothing but consciousness, Sat, Chit, Ananda. The substance is only one. But it is in a dynamic form, and that's what's interesting. How does it even become dynamic, or why is it dynamic? These are words we're using based on our experiences of life. So, for example, if you see clouds going in the air, we say we call it clouds. They're moving. We can see that the wind is there. They're moving. But what is it actually? It's nothing but water. Right? It's just water particles. But it's in that particular form. So this is what Vedanta is teaching, that Brahman or consciousness, which is Sat, Chit, Ananda, is only one. It is one reality. And that is taking many, many, many different forms again and again and again. So Shakti itself is another form of Brahman only. It's another form of Sat Chit Ananda. It has taken different forms. It expresses itself in different ways. As the Sattva Gun, Rajo Gun, Tamo Gun, through the bodies, for the Jivatma, things like that. That is a big mystery. How is it that Brahman became the Jivatma? Though the Brahman hasn't become the Jivatma, as part of the Advaita Vedanta goes. Brahman doesn't become anything. It is just only dreaming itself as many. Think about this. There's no becoming the world. In fact, as per Shankaracharyaji's Guru's Guru, as I mentioned before, Ajatavad, there is no world. There's nothing actually there. There's no substance to anything. Not Jagrata Avastha, Swapna Avastha, Shushupti Avastha, not these bodies, not this plurality of it. It's just an appearance. It's just a dream of the Brahman. There's nothing there actually. This is what is called Ajatavad. It's the doctrine of that nothing is born ever. It's a most baffling idea actually, but this is pure Advaita Vedanta. Gaudapad Acharya is the propounder of Ajatavad. Shankaracharyaji is not that extreme on Advaita, even as, he's not rejecting that idea, but there's still a relative level. So this becomes difficult to understand. How is it that nothing is there? Well, when a rishi awakens into the Brahman, there isn't anything except Brahman. So when he comes back into this sharir, into this plural world, he sees the same reality as Brahman. What we are seeing right now is cats and dogs and animals and mountains and trees and all these things that we're seeing, our body and what is happening in our experiences in the body. Everything is Brahman. Everything is consciousness only. Somebody yelling at us is consciousness. Somebody's praising us is consciousness. Blinking eyes, opening eyes, breathing, taking the inhale, taking the outward hail, talking. Everything is Brahman. Think about it. Everything is consciousness. Everything is there. So then where's the issue of coming, going? So at the very highest level sages, they sometimes stop eating food. Sometimes they don't care about even their body. They can just leave. The body doesn't exist. It's there, but it's not there. So there's no they even left. There's no individuality left. Right now, Sachin is talking to you. Sachin is presenting something. There's a sense that there is Sachin. There's this body. All that thing disappears. So then what remains? Something extraordinary, which is indescribable. You can never describe it. And that is all there is. And then eventually the Paramansa can just leave the body. Then there's no body anymore. There's no rebirth anymore. There's no existence anymore. There's no Brahman anymore. There's no Maya anymore. There's no binding anymore. There's no mother, father, this, that, nothing. Kuch bhi nahi. No Svargalok, no Narakalok, no Mrityulok, no galaxies. Kuch nahi hai. There is only Chidakash. There is only Brahman. And the Jivatma is one with that. It finishes right there. Then there is no coming out of it also. There's no coming back in the universe, even if the universe exists. From that point of view, there's no universe that exists. There's not even God that exists. You see, so that's the other interesting thing about that. Brahman doesn't mean God, by the way. People misunderstand this. कि हमारे हिंदू धर्म में हम भगवान को मानते हैं. Totally false बात है. In Advaita Vedanta, there is no Bhagavan of any kind. There is Brahman. Understand this point. Bhagavan doesn't mean Brahman. Bhagavan means one who has the 6 bhagas, the 6 Aishwaryas, who is a manifestation here in human form or in some form that is called Bhagavan. That doesn't mean Brahman. You see, Brahman means pure consciousness. That's it. It doesn't mean any particular person, any particular avatar, kuch nahi hai isme. Think about that. Think about what, Bhagavad Gita is saying Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, because Vedvyasji wrote it that way, that same Paramatma is manifesting as this particular person. But if you look at it in Advaita Vedanta, even Arjun is Brahman. Then how is Arjun and Krishna are different? How are we different from Krishna? Is anything different from anything? Then the concept of avatar goes out the window. So you see, so the difficulty in Advaita Vedanta, how can there be any avatar? The concept of avatar falls away completely. Although they accept the concept of avatar, now there's a contradiction there. These are some of the difficulties that's why the other acharyas came later on. If you're saying that Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Ram, these are incarnations, whose incarnations are they? वो जो Akshar Brahma है, जो infinite Brahman, that is the one. Well, I mean, that's the controversy. There's a lot of controversy. Is there Para Brahman beyond even Brahman? You see, so in chapter 15, Bhagwan Purushottam, वो Para Brahma Tattva Akshar se bhi par hai. You see, so well, how do you know that? If you say, is there something even beyond that? Something beyond that? Something beyond that? This is called Anavastha Dosh in Vedanta. If you say that there is Brahman, and beyond that is Para Brahman, then says there is something even beyond that, something beyond that, something beyond that, something beyond that. Cause and effect, that there's just endless. It is called the infinite regress problem in philosophy. You see, so then you have you have the problem of anavastha dosh. It's called the infinite regress, and then there is no end to that. That if Brahman is caused by Parabrahman and Parabrahman is caused by some other Brahman, and that thing is caused by something else and something else and something else. This is called infinite regress. Well, the cause-effect relationship ends at Brahman. There's no time there. There's no cause-effect relationship. Then how can you say that there is even something beyond the infinite consciousness? That's where the other acharyas would disagree with Shankaracharya. No, there is something beyond. That is the Parabrahma Tattva itself. All right? Well, then if you're saying that, then that is still some time. It becomes very confusing. If there's infinite consciousness, how can there be anything beyond infinite consciousness? You see? So the way Ramakrishna Paramans answered this is that it's not that it's beyond infinite consciousness as such. I mean, the way he put it, he says there's Nitya Sakar Dham, like Golok and Vaikuntha and these things that we talk about quite often. These abodes are there. But where did they come from? How were they developed? Are they just there? That they were just there from beginningless time? So, or that Brahman takes that form, like icebergs in the ocean. If you have icebergs in the ocean, they have taken that form. Like Golok and Vaikuntham and all these, they're all forms of Brahman, but they are Nitya. That means they're eternally existing. Is that what's happened? Again, these are questions that we are talking about from our level, from where we are. Until we reach Nirvikalpa Sthiti, go beyond Maya, go beyond the Agnya Chakra, go beyond all of the internal disturbances into the Atman, no answer to this can really be understood. Whatever the sages have written, they have written from their realization. We have to realize it. And this is the big question. The Mandukya Upanishad is talking about this realization of the Brahman, of the Atman beyond the three states. Can we go beyond the three states? We get stuck inside the three states, waking, dreaming, deep sleep state. But to be completely free and illuminated in the three states, wow, that is something extraordinary. But what would that be? How does a person live in an illuminated state? Look at how generally human beings, we consider this world is there. We're living, for our desires and struggling, and we have our endless number of desires are there. And then a person dies. That's all. There's nothing beyond. I mean, that's the end of it. And that's that. Some people will say that, यही है, eat, drink and be merry, विषय भोग करो, और कुछ आत्मा नहीं है, भगवान नहीं है, नरक नहीं है, स्वर्ग नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, सब बकवास है. It's just eat, drink and be merry. That's it. Nothing. विषय भोग. Okay, many people are doing that. There's nothing new in that. I mean, what's new in that? There's nothing new in doing that. But the fact of the matter is, we have intelligence. We can try to see something beyond. That is where spiritual path comes in. Try to make our lives better. Try to stabilize the mind. Try to do all of these things to realize the Atma Tattva. And if the Atma Tattva is realized, that is Ananda. That is something extraordinary. You see, but again, it's a matter of Shraddha. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, as we said. Is it actually there? Is there really this manifestation of Bhagavan, that Paramatma that is existing beyond Brahman is manifesting as incarnation? Is that what's going on? Because otherwise, if we say only Brahman is there, how can there be incarnation? Everything is Brahman. So where's the issue of avatar or anything like that? Everybody's avatar. Everything is only one. तो गुरु शिष्य भी नहीं है इसमें, कोई अवतार भी नहीं है, कोई शिष्य भी नहीं है, कोई बंधन भी नहीं है, कोई मुक्ति भी नहीं. Then these kinds of stotras are there. Chidananda Rupam, that famous stotram that Shankaracharya Ji's disciple wrote, attributed to Shankaracharya Ji. Chidananda Rupam Shivoham, na Guru, na Shishya. There's no Guru, there's no Shishya, there's only the one Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham. Okay, all right, fine. That is it's realization. But then what about Guru Shishya Parampara? What about all this thing? It is there up to the point that is realized. Once you realize it, there's no more Guru. There's no concept of Guru at all in Advaita Vedanta. Even the notion of a Guru is Maya. Think about that. Inside Advaita Vedanta, that somebody is a Guru different from me, that is a Maya. No, you consider that awakened being is only me. I have to awaken. If you look at Vivek Chudamani, the Vivek Chudamani is the discourse between Guru and Shishya that Shankaracharya Ji created. So the Guru is addressing the Shishya as Paramatma. Inside the Vivek Chudamani, we'll get to those verses. How interesting that is. what is all of this coming to? In this Mandukya Upanishad is encouraging us to awaken into our original self, out of the entanglements of the Jagra Sapna Shushupti. Bhagavad Gita, the incarnations of God, the Bhajan Kirtan, Manan Chintan, this is all psychological level. It's at the level of mind. You know, when we're doing bhajans, when we're singing kirtans, doing mantras, we're using our mind to do that. Atman is beyond the mind. Atma is not within, the mind is just a one fragment, one kind of a little fragment of the Atma, a whole mind. Atman is much beyond the mind. So to realize that is what the Mandukya Upanishad is talking about. These other sadhanas that came, the Puranas and other literature that came, bhakti literature and all that, that is at the level of mind. Remember that. This is not at the level of mind, this Mandukya Upanishad. It is beginning and staying at that level beyond mind all the time. You know, that's why nobody can talk about this. It's extremely difficult to even do any kind of exposition on these Upanishads, because it is beyond the layers of the mind. So we'll talk more about it. I know it's a little confusing. I'll try to clarify this a bit further so it's more understandable. But we'll get into it slowly. Om Vakaratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samhaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Medeva Sarvakarichi Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha Om Divilingaya Nama Urdhvalingaya Nama Anandalingaya Nama Dvadash Jyotirlingaya Namo Nama Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche Om Glom Hum Klim Jum Sahajvale Jvale Jvala Jala Prajvala Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche Jvala Ham Samdam Ksham Phat Swaha Om Durge Rakshani Tha Swaha Om Shri Hanumate Namaha Om Shri Durgarpanamastu Om Hrim Swaha.